Welcome to Category 5 Technology TV, episode number 347 for Tuesday, the 13th of May, 2014. Nice to see you. My name's Robbie Ferguson.
I am Sasha Dermatis.
Tonight, Sasha, we've got an exciting show. Of course, Linux is taking over your laptop.
Can't wait.
She got the new laptop and gave us permission to wipe it clean. So stick around, we're going to be checking that out. Also, we've got Francois Prue, who is joining us from Password Box to talk about all the different kind of very technical questions that have arisen in our community since we had Megan Smulders on the show to talk about their products. So he's going to be answering some really interesting, almost deeper questions with regards to the platform and how it works. So stick around. I'm excited to get into the geekiness of how that works.
Exactly.
So if you have any questions, make sure you get them in the chat room as well.
And it's all drones, robots, and video games tonight. Here's what's coming up in the newsroom. A new robotic arm and hand is making headway for amputees. The increased use of drones is bringing new risk to airplanes. A UN convention is actually going to be discussing the viability of killer robots for war. And the next installment of Unreal Tournament is coming straight to Linux, which I now have for free. Stick around. These stories are coming up later in the show.
Wait a minute, you have the game or Linux?
No, Linux.
Oh, phew.
I don't think anybody really has
Yeah,
the
because
game
if you've
yet.
got a pre-release, I want to see this. Exciting stuff.
Yes.
We've got a Google Plus live hangout with us and you following tonight's show, so you want to stick around after the show, get onto Google Plus, get over to cat5.tv/G+, onto our Facebook channel, onto wherever you want to find us in our chat room. We're going to post links and everything, and don't go anywhere because this is going to be an exciting show.
This is Category 5 Technology TV. Starring Sasha Dermatis, Hillary Rumble, Krista Wells, Eric Kidd, and your host, Robbie Ferguson.
This is Category 5 Technology TV. Hey, nice to have you here tonight. It's episode number 347.
347, right smack dab in the middle of May.
That's 347 weeks of tech geekiness.
I've been on for about 7 of them, maybe 9.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Wow.
347, Robbie. That's awesome.
Cool.
Category5.tv is a member of the Tech Podcast Network. If it's tech, it's here. And cat5.tv/TPN and the International Association of Internet Broadcasters. Cat5.tv IAIB. So.
I've got your laptop all set up.
Yes.
Let's get this paperwork out of the way here,
Oop,
just so that the viewers can look at this.
Can you see it?
You know what? I'm just going to
unplug it.
Unplug everything.
So this is the laptop.
There it is.
There's Linux.
There's no Windows on there. Look at this. You are officially a Linux geek now.
I didn't actually tell Dave, so let's see how he...
Oh. Watch me right now.
Surprise,
What is
babe.
that?
Yeah.
There it is. So I went with Zorin OS. We're going to talk all about it a little later on in the show. As you can see, it works fantastically well. What I want to encourage you to do, as I plug back in the USB peripherals, is throughout the course of the episode tonight, Sasha, because this is your first experience with Linux, let us know what it's like. You're coming from Windows, right?
I'm coming from Windows.
Is it difficult? Is it different? Is it exciting? Is it nice?
Yeah, I'm nervous, but excited.
You said it was pretty.
It is pretty. It's a pretty sunset. It matches the color of the laptop. I'm very
good planning, Robbie.
Girly about, good planning. You
found a nice wallpaper. So that's good.
I mean, I'm seriously all about like the small things, like the trash bin looks nice.
Perfect. Nice icon set.
Nice icons. So yeah, it's not. I'm not very, for the fact that I am a co-host here, I'm not very technical.
Cool.
So
that's good. This is a great time for you to be checking out Linux.
Yeah.
So tonight we're going to be taking a look at that for the very, very first time with Sasha, who's experiencing Linux for the first time tonight.
Yeah.
So this is exciting. So stick around. We're going to be doing that a little bit later on in the show. Before we get into our interview, just a reminder, make sure you visit our mobile website. It's m.cat5.tv. If you scan that QR code, that's going to take you there. We've got on-demand video, on-demand audio if you want to just listen to the show. That's kind of cool. And you can watch and listen live. So
which is
can't beat
awesome.
it. And it's absolutely free.
Yay.
m.cat5.tv. Well, it is our pleasure tonight to be joined by Francois Proulx, who is a security engineer from Passwordbox. As you remember, in episode number 332...
That is correct.
Is that the last time you were here?
I think the last time I was here.
It was an exciting episode because we got to talk about this product called Passwordbox.
Which I immediately went home and downloaded, and I have on my phone and on my... Well, I had it on my laptop,
It'll
I'm
work
sure.
on Linux?
Yes.
We'll get that on there for you.
Okay.
For sure.
But I do have questions, so I am like over the moon excited that I'm here for this episode as well.
And that's it, is that Megan, we had an amazing discussion about the product, but after the show, I started getting a lot of emails saying, okay, well, I need to know more about this, this, and this.
Right.
So Francois joins us tonight. Francois, it is so nice to have you here. Thanks for being on. Security engineer with Passwordbox. Can you explain what it is that you do at the company?
Yeah. Products. So
just one moment, Francois. I apologize, but it seems that we're having some audio issues there on your channel. Can that be confirmed in the chat room?
I don't think that anybody said anything quite yet.
Just want to be absolutely sure here because we are live and these things can happen. Chat room, are you hearing Francois okay?
Oh, no, they lost audio.
Okay.
Can you give me a sound check, please, Francois?
Yes. Can you hear me now? Is it okay?
Yeah, that sounds good. And I'm going to switch back to your camera and we'll double check that sound stays with us. And I apologize for the technical difficulties, folks.
All right.
And just bear with us here, folks. We're just having a little bit of audio difficulties, and I'm glad that we caught that right off the bat.
Yes.
That's at least a good thing.
Oh,
Francois.
It's working now?
Okay.
It's working right now. Yeah, they can hear you just now, but as soon as I switch over to your camera, that's where we lose it. And
how much I love the chat room right now.
And how much we love live broadcasting.
Yes.
There we go. Okay, so this is Category 5 Technology TV, and we are live tonight. And Francois, I appreciate your patience and you at home as I just kind of worked that out. And this is a beautiful thing that we're able to correct this live on the fly. But Francois, you've got microphone now. The question was, and I apologize, the question is, as a security engineer for Passwordbox, what is it that you do at the company?
Sure. Thanks for having me. So I joined Passwordbox about 6 months ago as a full-time security engineer. Mm-hmm. The company is growing really fast. So my main focus is really to lead what we call secure development. So that is our products are, we develop software components across multiple platforms. That includes browser extensions in Chrome, Firefox, and Internet Explorer, and all of that, and mobile platforms. So we have a number of engineers developing the product, improving the features, and I'm overviewing all aspects related to security in all these teams. So I do training with each and every team.
Yeah.
I do what's called auditing. So I review the source code to make sure that it doesn't have any issues. And also, as we design new features that will be coming soon, I'm taking the lead on making sure that before it even reaches the source code level, we have thought of the various problems and addressed them beforehand.
Sounds like a pretty big responsibility as far as that goes. I mean, with something like PasswordBox, where you are literally, quite literally, making it possible to eliminate passwords, the need for passwords, in a manner of speaking.
Yeah,
that's a big responsibility.
Most definitely, and it is one that I take very seriously and at heart. I've been, you know, for many years a developer myself, so I know what it's like to develop products, and because of various projects I've worked in the past, I've been focusing more and more as the years pass by towards secure development, and now with PasswordBox, it's definitely a very cool and exciting opportunity to do that with such a great team here.
Very cool, very cool. One of the things that is really one of the questions, Francois, that has come up here at the show with our viewers, one of the biggest concerns with regards to putting our passwords on an online service is what keeps our passwords safe from prying eyes, or even, you know, these days a lot of people have concerns about governments.
Definitely.
Privacy.
Forcefully,
as they should, you know, and I, as a security engineer and also involved in various community group, open source projects and such, it is definitely a topic that I care about, and we take it at heart. The design of our product in terms of security takes this from the very start, and that is how we were able to achieve something that protects the user's password, but then also provides them with tremendous usability improvements.
Okay, so can I be incredibly blunt?
Yeah.
Okay, we're going to be blunt. I work for the American government. I'm NSA or whatever, and I've come to you with the official documentation to say you need to give me Robbie Ferguson's passwords. What happens?
So what is stored in our databases? So let's say that happens. What is stored in our databases for each and every user accounts is only encrypted data. So obviously there is, for instance, a few metadata. So for instance, the email, we need to keep that unencrypted because we need to send you an email so that you can receive the confirmation of the account creation and other things. But apart from that, the critical assets, such as the password assets, and also all the wallet items that we call. So you can store credit cards, contact addresses, and other things. Those are all, I would say, encrypted in a black box manner. So what we receive on the server side is an opaque blob that we then store, and then for later retrieval and syncing across devices.
Okay, so
you don't have the passwords to share.
No. So
right.
So it was probably briefly discussed in the first podcast with Megan, but we do ask users upon account creation to create a strong master password that we call. Yep. So it's called a master password because it really is the one that will be protecting all the other assets that you then put in PasswordBox. So in terms of a little bit more technical details, we take this master password and using well-known cryptographic algorithms, we're able to derive a key that will then be used to protect those assets. And that derivation process cannot, or at least cannot be reversed in a manner of that like short enough. Let's say if you choose a strong master password and we help you do in technical terms, you might have heard of brute force attacks. So that is essentially guessing every combinations of characters in a password,
Right.
one after the other. So let's say you were to guess a 10 characters password against the technology that we use with PasswordBox, it would literally take hundreds, if not more, years to go through all the possibilities.
And by then, I probably am not too concerned about my Facebook login information.
Right.
Yeah,
In 200 years.
yeah.
So we're speaking with Francois Proulx. He's a security engineer from PasswordBox, and we really want to get to the bottom of how this product is able to... we've talked about how the service makes it so that it's easier for us to use our computers because we don't have to memorize thousands of really difficult passwords, nor do we have to keep them insecurely in a text file or a spreadsheet. This software uses a master password to protect our data.
So then you can make stronger, bigger, longer passwords.
That's exactly
because you're
right.
not, picking a word like Yahoo as your password.
Well, if I have to change my
Because-
password on this site, it needs to be something I can remember so I can log in. Well, not with PasswordBox. It can be
Right.
something absurd.
Right.
And it's long and strong. So, Francois, the question arises in our chat room. Garby is concerned about the Legacy Locker feature because Legacy Locker, unlike your, like what you're describing with our master password, we've actually set it up so that, for example, my wife, and I think this is a brilliant tool, and we can go into details and everything, but you can think of so many scenarios. So, if I were to die, what happens to all my online particulars, my login information? Who's going to renew category5.tv as a domain name if nobody else has has the password to get into my registrar
Right.
and renew it for me to keep this thing going after I'm dead? So, as much as we don't like to think about that, fact is, if that were to happen, if there was some tragedy, I want my wife or next of kin or whoever to be able to access my information. PasswordBox makes that possible. How can you make that possible? How can you transfer now my private passwords to my wife? I understand that we need to verify death and everything, but you're able to actually transfer them over to her in such a way that she can use them, even though she does not know my master password. How's that possible?
Yeah. So, just for a start, let me. So I'll be happy to answer your question.
Sure.
And that is definitely something. It is a patent pending technology.
Okay,
that
this is
we
interesting.
are quite proud of.
Can I
but
say,
I'll
the
be very
question-
happy to share details.
Okay, that the question came up, and now I'm very, very proud because my assumption was that this is proprietary, and that there are some proprietary things that go into it. So, but so it sounds like I was pretty correct in that. So,
Okay.
being
ahead.
that this is a private, a private process that you're not going to reveal, how can you give us confidence that this product is in fact, because if I can transfer my passwords now over to my wife or to Sasha or to whoever using this next of kin Legacy Locker feature, how can that be possible if the Canadian government can't step in and say, give me
Right.
the passwords?
So when I say it's patent pending to protect some aspects, some very specific aspects of that technology.
Yeah.
But the underlying cryptographic primitives that are used are standardized, and you can go on our website and look up the security white paper, and it does describe this in further details that I'll be happy to answer here and at a more high level explanation. But
Okay.
people who are interested can definitely go on our website, and we also have a security mailing list. Which I respond to questions that are very similar to what you have right now.
Okay.
And I did I think last Friday I received the exact question, and I was happy to answer it. So the gist of it is that for this to work, both parties, so the one that is wanting to delegate their assets after their life
Okay, so
to
me.
someone.
Yeah.
So, and the receiving party, the one that will receive, let's say, in the case of a parent and a child, that could be an example. So both of these parties need to create their own Passwordbox account. So that's the first requirement.
Okay.
Once that's done, and that can be done throughout the activation process of the legacy locker feature. So first party, let's say the parent creates a Passwordbox account and goes and click on the legacy locker feature, invites their child. That he then receives an email asking him to join Passwordbox. He's going to create his own account, and he's going to be able to use it on a daily basis, just like his parent.
Yep.
But once that's done, they'll be able to share passwords during their life. So that's a typical another feature that we have where you can share passwords between people during your life, let's say.
Might be handy for, say, a receptionist or something.
Right. Now, but can that partnership be terminated?
Yes, exactly. You can revoke the sharing at any time.
Okay, that's good. I mean, because there are things like a receptionist with a boss, where the receptionist would need to know all of the passwords, or like an estranged son, or, a partnership dissolving, a marriage dissolving, and then now you don't want that person to know all of your passwords.
Right.
But if they were the original recipient in the legacy locker, you can actually change recipients. Then,
yeah.
Right.
So
and definitely, so you can at any moment after you've asked someone to be your legacy locker recipient. Let's say, I don't know the exact term.
the
top of my head.
digital heir.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
That would be the correct term. So you can revoke it at any time. So how it works technically is. It uses, I'm going to use a few technical words for a moment so that people who know them will know what I'm talking about after.
Okay. Yeah.
But then I'll jump to something a little bit more visually, anybody can understand in terms of real life examples. So basically we use RSA key pairs, which is a well-known cryptographic standard. It has been invented in the 70s.
Yep. So this is encryption to keep our data safe.
Yes.
Yeah.
So RSA, the neat thing about RSA, the RSA system, is that it is what we call asymmetric. So contrary to other types of encryption, which are symmetric, so that is you can encrypt using a key, and you can decrypt using the same key. So that is a reversible process. So that is what we use when you want to store your own passwords in our database. So you get your master password. You're then able to derive the key, as I said previously, which is used for encrypting those assets. And later, you can retrieve those assets and decrypt them for your own use using the same master password. So that's one thing.
Okay.
Regarding legacy locker, as I said, it uses asymmetric encryption. So that is a type of encryption that allows someone to encrypt the data using one key, but then for decryption, it requires another key. So that is something very interesting and very specific to those types of algorithms. And it is something that everybody uses every day.
Yeah.
When they browse the internet. You might not even know it, but when you see in a URL bar the HTTPS URL, the magic that happens behind it is based in part on RSA.
Okay.
So nothing new here. We did not invent a new algorithm in terms of encryption. And when you talk between security focused people, it is definitely not a good practice to reinvent the wheel.
Sure. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I have a question. It's my question, and also somebody on the chat room had said that he's happy that his ex-wife doesn't know his passwords, so he would want to likely change all of your passwords if you were going through a divorce, right? And same with the Heartbleed bug. You were told to change all of your passwords. Now, I have Passwordbox, and my question is, Is it easy? Is there a way that's easy to change the passwords on Passwordbox? Because I was finding it difficult. I actually only ended up changing one password because I was having a hard time kind of navigating through, because it always wants to log me in with the password that I have. So then I had to show the password, copy it to the clipboard. You know, like there was a lot of steps. Is there some sort of easy step to change your passwords once they're already in Passwordbox?
It is, as you just explained, it is like if you have to do it fully manually, it is definitely a very tedious process to go side by side and find where you can change your password. So each and every site has a different UI, and oftentimes it's going to be kind of hidden somewhere up. You know, you click on your account profile, and then you find how to change the password. And because of that, because each and every site is very different in their way they allow you to change password. I mean, even more than they are different when you look at the login form. So the login forms are typically different, but their similarity is definitely closer than if you compare that to changing password. And that is an active area of research of a team here at Passwordbox that we call the machine learning team. And they use sophisticated algorithms based on artificial intelligence to essentially browse the internet automatically using algorithms and detect those forms and identify the various features on each and every site. So one thing that they would do is identify the login forms and also where the URL is to change the password and all that. To answer your question, at this moment, we do not have kind of an automated process to change your passwords, but you might imagine that it is something we are working really hard.
Can I just say, Francois, just to be absolutely fair to Passwordbox, that Heartbleed was an unfair initiation for any security company, plain and simple, because nobody, the banks, not Twitter, not Facebook, well, Facebook, but nobody saw this coming. So the need to go onto the internet and change all of your passwords up until now would happen every time you got out of a relationship, every time you anything, you know, a divorce is an example. Now I've got to change all my millions of passwords. Well, with Passwordbox, now I only typically have to change one password. All the other ones can stay the same because my master password is the only one I need to change if I've shared that for some reason.
Which there's no need to.
So to be really fair to Passwordbox, this was an you'd never have to do this except for the fact that Heartbleed happened to happen and nobody saw that coming, and it's not Passwordbox's fault, just to be absolutely fair. And kind of goes along the same vein of what Good Guy was saying in the chat room about Darren at Hack5 creating a keylogger or clipboard monitor that can track what you put in to, you know, for passwords and things. Well, with Passwordbox, if somebody were to get your master password, again, all you have to do is change the master password, because the main passwords are automatically filled in on the forms, automatically submitted through your web browser. So they're never actually touching your keyboard. They're never touching your clipboard. They're just going directly to the browser,
that's true.
So again, similarly, you only have to change one password. So
is that a question that's similar to that the two-factor authentication? Is that...
That's a little along a different vein.
Okay.
That's fair enough, Francois? Just to put that out there about Heartbleed.
Yeah, definitely. It was let's say a worldwide security issue that affected a number of companies, and
I'm glad to see you look like you have caught up on your sleep. So that's good, because a lot of sleepless nights for security engineers for sure. We have lots of questions that have come in to us, Francois. Just to, I'll just mention we are speaking with Francois Prue from Password Box if you're just tuning in. And we're talking a little bit more in depth about the technical aspects of Password Box, how it works. You can find out about the application, get a copy of it for your browser on Windows, Linux, and Mac. cat5.tv/password is our quick link that's going to direct you right over to their website. Mastermind ZH has a few questions for you, Francois. Maybe you just alluded to one of them.
One of them, yeah. Now there's a few of them. One, he wants to know if there's a way to export his passwords to a file, like an XML file or something similar, just to have them, I guess, on hand himself. Is there a feature?
So at this moment, no, but it is something that is getting higher and higher in our priorities list.
Okay,
right.
So the request has been made. Yeah.
He's not the first person to ask.
Okay.
We do support importing from a standard like a comma separated value, which is a fairly common type of awesome. File. So it is possible for you to import your existing passwords you may have, but in terms of exporting, at the time we are speaking, it is not in our product. But again, if it is something that you care about, you can definitely send us feature enhancement requests, and the more people we get,
there you go.
The priorities are adapted and
so
each and every
put in
week.
a vote for Mastermind ZH.
Well, there's
his real name.
That's right. He has a second, I guess, enhancement that he'd like, which is a category option for the passwords. You know how they're listed alphabetically? He'd like categorically as well as alphabetically.
That's interesting. Yeah.
Which is, I mean, that's something maybe that you could toggle between the two.
Yeah, it's definitely a good suggestion.
Yeah. You get a long list eventually of passwords. If you've been to 1,000 sites, you now have 1,000 passwords.
Right.
Is that something that is on the horizon at all?
Yeah, I mean, it's.
You said and you shook your head, so I'm thinking this is the first you've heard of it.
It is something that we've already even the design aspects of it has been thought of.
Yeah.
Again, we have a lot of great cool features that are coming up, and some of those that we just discussed. They'll be coming at some point.
I guess at that point, technically, Password Box becomes not just a password management tool, but also a bit of a accessible cloud-based bookmarking tool.
Right.
So that I'm actually keeping track of my websites as opposed to just my passwords. That's kind of a neat way to look at it, I think.
Now, one of the questions is, and I don't quite understand what the two-factor authentication is.
Okay.
Is that when you have a password and then you have that crazy scrolly letter thing that you also... Okay, what is
CAPTCHA.
that?
Well, the question for you, Francois, comes to us from Mastermind ZH, who wants to know, knowing that, of course, Heartbleed is one of those examples that have made a lot of people aware that single-factor authentication is not as safe as we once thought it could be.
So that is just a password? Is that what single-factor?
Essentially, yeah.
Okay.
One way of authenticating you as a user. So, knowing that, and knowing that, and this is a hard question because I have to be blunt about it. I have to be. This is for the community, all right, and this is for your users as well as my viewers. Password Box is a single-factor authentication master password. When are we going to see second-factor authentication so that we can be more assured that our gross list of thousands of passwords is protected?
Yeah, very good question. And for that, in that I can tell you it's even closer in terms of timeline than the previous two features. It is literally a few short weeks away from now.
Okay.
I would say our goal is to put it in production in our products in June.
June of 2014.
Yes,
that is incredibly
this quarter.
close.
Very good. Well, I'm glad to hear that. and I'm sure the community just went, oh.
Yeah.
So we've pretty much completed the design aspects of it. I've reviewed the security. We are just right now dispatching the various tasks for each and every team. And in terms of, obviously, we don't want to rush things too fast, because we want to ensure the quality of our product. So
Understood.
in terms of QA, when you talk in terms of adding a second factor, that adds a number of other more complex scenarios to test when we want to look at the quality of our products. So that is a big aspect we want to consider before rushing second factor, but it is coming very soon.
Cool. Good to hear. Good to hear.
Excellent.
Now, I know we kind of got sidetracked from a very, very important question that I know we're running really, really short on time, and we're milking your time here, Francois, and I appreciate it. Going back to the Legacy Locker feature,
Yes.
were you describing, if I'm not mistaken, when I have somebody who is my digital heir, that my passwords are then replicated into a second database in a with a different encryption algorithm?
That you are very close to guessing how it works. So I explained previously that there is this well-known encryption algorithm called RSA that has a very unique capability where you can encrypt using one key and decrypt with another key. So the way it works is really like if we take real life examples, that would be a scenario where you have someone you'd like to share something with. That person who's going to be the recipient is going to give you a box. And so it's fun to think that password box. I wasn't here when they came up with the term password box, but I'm quite certain that this has something to do with it. So let's imagine the person you wanna delegate all your passwords after your death gives you a box. Okay, so you take.
I got a physical box with a lock and key. I'm sure.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So they give you that box, and they also give you a padlock that you can put to secure that box. And you don't have either the combination or the key, whatever it may be, for that padlock. But so that person keeps that piece secret. So either the key for the padlock or the combination.
Yeah.
So you have the padlock that's opened at the moment you receive the box. So you can put all your passwords. So basically, as you use password box, you use the technology we discussed previously for encrypting your own passwords. But when you activate the Legacy Locker feature, for each modification of your password, let's say you add a new password to your box, it'll be encrypted for you and for that digital heir, and put inside that little box that he gave you. Okay. But what's very important here to understand is that, let's say you have multiple recipients. Okay. They will each have a different key. So they will give you a different box and a different padlock, let's say.
Okay.
So is now my digital heir's key encrypted with non-reversible encryption in their account?
Pretty much. So so that box, you essentially manage it during your life. The password box product does it for you. So it will seamlessly encrypt twice, or a number of times, X number of times that you have recipients, and you put those in that extra box. It gets protected on our servers as well, because it is encrypted with a key that only the recipient has.
Right.
But the key thing here, and that is really what distinguishes it from a regular shared password. So as we said, you can share passwords normally, but the key thing is that on our servers, when you activated the Legacy Locker, those items are marked as not to be released until an event that you have essentially decided what it will be. So the simple example would be your own death.
Yep.
And when that happens, that digital heir comes to us. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
They send us an email, call us over the phone or whatever, how they want to contact us. And at that moment, they'll be required to provide us with legal documents that we can validate.
We understand that aspect of it for sure. I think it's the technical aspect that has kind of gotten people going,
I wonder. Yeah.
So I, as the digital heir, and I have to say this out loud so that you can just go, because people are going to say, oh, you're not supposed to reveal trade secrets. But I, as the digital heir, have an encrypted key that will unlock a different database storing all my passwords, and so I need my master password in order to get that key.
Right.
So the NSA can't show up and say, give me the key for that person, for that other person's, because they don't have the unlock key for this person's, which reveals the key to that database.
That is correct. So as we said in the beginning, that receiving party needs to have created a Passwordbox account.
Yes.
Right.
So they have their own master
the key
password
right there.
And then that master password is able to recover essentially the magical padlock key that they've given us at the very beginning of the process.
Okay, well, thank you very much, Francois.
Yeah.
I really do feel like, okay, we comprehend this now, and I know that these are important factors of how your company works, but for the users, they need the confidence to know that this is actually a secure process that's storing our password. So I appreciate you helping us to understand that. Can I just go back to two-factor authentication finally, just because we want to know, people in the chat room, Agamotto wants to know, are you going to have eyeball scanners? I saw in the chat room, are we going to be able to use our cell phones, fingerprint readers? What can you reveal about how the two-factor authentication is going to work just in a couple of moments' time?
Okay, so one thing we've announced recently is integration with the new Samsung S5, which has a fingerprint scanner.
Yeah.
So that already exists for the Android version of our app. Also, we've announced integration with the NIMI bracelet, which detects your heartbeat. It is a Toronto-based company, actually. And we partner closely with them on integrating the NIMI with our products.
Okay. Interesting.
So, like biometrics as an area of research is something that we are really focusing a lot of efforts on. Let's say the time frame would be in the next few months for those to come to get ready for a production adoption. But in terms of the exact details of the second factor, which will be released in June, let me just say that it will be very, very similar to what Google does. So if you look at the way Google does it or Yahoo, it will be modeled in a very similar fashion.
Okay.
So we've got multiple different ways to enter two-factor authentication. So. You know what, Francois, this has been very informative. It looks like our chat room is satisfied with regards to everything that was said here. One question coming in here, just want to proof it here. Okay, well, I'll touch that one in the chat room, Francois, because I believe that we've already answered that. And if anyone here who's watching this right now doesn't quite grasp the security aspect, because I feel confident now, and that's what we set out. Okay, well, if I get it, then that's good. because I can explain it to you. So if you have questions, pop us an email live@category5.tv. If it's above me, I'll forward it on to the folks over at Passwordbox. But I do feel confident that I understand how this thing works. So
it is also very user-friendly because I use it and I am not ultra tech savvy. And
Francois, forgive me, but and viewers, I don't want this to sound like we're sales pitching Passwordbox, because we're not. This is as much about understanding security and the importance of having strong passwords and having multiple passwords all across the board. And Passwordbox simply is the tool that we've chosen that really works well in order to help us to establish a good safe online presence. But then these kind of questions come up where, okay, we need to understand that our passwords are in fact safe. And Francois, I really appreciate your time here tonight. Thank you for joining us at Category 5.
Thank you.
My pleasure. And again, just to close, the people who are interested in diving even in more depth, they can go look at our security white paper on our website, or reach us at security@passwordbox.com, which is our security-focused mailing list. And I'm the one who's responsible for answering those kinds of questions, and we'll be happy to answer those.
Thanks, Francois.
Thank you.
And again, a note that we do have a short link for you, cat5.tv/password. Francois, great having you here. Thanks for joining us tonight. And have a
Thank
good
you.
one.
Excellent.
This is Category 5 Technology TV. I'm your host, Robbie Ferguson.
And I am Sasha Dermatis. Now, are
Ready?
we ready for the news?
It's like, wow, that was a lot of great
That was
information.
great information. Okay.
You take it away.
This is also big. So here are the top stories from the Category5.tv newsroom. A robot arm capable of picking up delicate objects has been approved for use by U.S. medical authorities. The DECA arm has fingers that can move much like real ones, making it easier for the amputees to feed themselves, zip up clothes, what are you doing, and unlock doors. The arm has much greater range of movement than existing devices, many of which are based around metal hooks and designs more than 100 years old. Now, just before I go on, I just want to touch on that I think that the idea of a metal hook or anything
Yes.
like that is sort of better. I think
Really?
that, yes.
Okay, why
now
is that?
here, because
a hook, I would claw your eye out.
no, well, because I think that things that look humanoid that aren't exactly human, they fall into like the uncanny valley of creepiness.
Okay, Dr. Pulaski.
Right? So I just feel like things need to look overtly robotic if they're not actually human.
Okay.
Not
Fair enough.
sort of humanoid looking, like this guy
Yeah.
with the
No,
egg.
he's a real guy.
That's not the
It's the
robot
hand.
arm. It's the
It's the
hand.
hand.
Yeah, the guy is fine.
Yeah.
He's not creeping me out. While prosthetics have improved in recent years, much of the development work has been done on legs rather than replacements for lost arms and hands.
Okay.
This is because of the formidable engineering challenges of reproducing the coordinated movement of hands and fingers. The DECA arm has been designed to resemble real limbs as much as possible. DARPA spokesman Justin Sanchez told Reuters this prosthetic limb system can pick up objects as delicate as a grape, as well as being able to handle very rugged tools like a hand drill. The DECA research firm behind the arm was founded by a renowned engineer, Dean Kamen, who invented the Segway scooter and many other devices.
And we know how that went.
Yeah, I just don't want it to look too human. I want it to look
You
like
made
a
an
tool.
interesting point before the show.
That I would like to have the fingers, be tools. Like
She says, why give the guy a fake hand that can hold a drill when you can just give him a hand that is a drill?
Exactly. Like, okay. So, like, there's a personal aspect to this. My
Okay.
mother is a thalidomide baby. So my mother was born with only one arm.
Okay.
Right? And while she was growing up, she tried prosthetic limbs. Not limbs. She tried one prosthetic arm
sure, yeah.
continuously. It wasn't functional. It was heavy and clunky, and it was creepy as all get
So
out.
would this not be
That would be more
miracle to her?
functional. But it's still... Yes, it would be a miracle to her. Yes, in many ways. But it doesn't change the... maybe it's just me. I don't think it's just me. It's like
I think we
the
need to call
creepy
Mom.
robot thing. Yeah. It's the creepy robot thing of it. Like, it needs
All
to
right.
look less humanoid if it's not human,
All right.
in my opinion.
Okay.
In my
What
style.
do you think? What do you
Yeah.
think? There's a certain fine line, I'm sure.
Right. I just feel like with people with prosthetic limbs, like the legs, when they look like blades, like Oscar, but
Does that not draw more
that is
attention
incredible
and
looking to me. It
embarrassment
looks
for a child?
It looks stylistic. It
Yeah.
looks
No,
functional.
I know, that's
and
cool.
it doesn't look like slightly.
If you're going to be
I
part
feel like-
robot, be part robot.
Right. I just feel like even like marionettes, they're creepy. Like, it's something
Okay.
about almost human but not human.
But would
Right.
it-
I'm not saying the person wearing it isn't human. I'm saying the limb itself
yeah,
isn't
I
human.
hear you. There's a certain
Yeah.
it's almost cyborg as far as, half human, half robot kind of
Yeah.
implementation. And you have an interesting perspective because of your mother.
Yeah.
And so that's kind of neat and strange. But to me, I would think if I didn't have an arm, and maybe it's different for someone who was born without one, but maybe
As
for somebody,
opposed to lost
maybe
one.
someone who had one
Right.
and had this ability,
Right.
and then lost it because of an accident, say a work accident, and they had their hand crushed, and the only option was a prosthetic. A hook is not going to work for that person.
Right.
Because it's going to feel so foreign. So would this not be, wow, I can pick up a pen?
Mm-hmm.
So to that person, maybe that's the difference. Maybe that would be.
Yeah.
I think it's pretty cool.
I love the technology behind it. Now on to clones. A drone almost collided with a U.S. commercial flight in March, an official with America's Flight Regulatory Agency has revealed. Jim Williams of the Federal Aviation Administration's Unmanned Aircraft Systems Office said it showed the risk posed by such aircraft. The near collision was reported to air traffic control as the pilot approached a Florida airport. The FAA currently only allows non-commercial and police use for drones, but it requires the drone pilots to alert the airport when flying within a 5-mile radius of the airport. Mr. Williams said that at a drone conference in San Francisco that the airline pilot said that the UAS, which is the Unmanned Aircraft System, was so close to his jet that he was sure that he had collided with it. Thankfully, inspection of the airliner after landing revealed that there was no damage.
Wow, that's kind of scary.
Yeah, it's completely freaky because now we have all of these. Well, I mean,
Very
all of
small,
these small drones.
flying around, and,
Right,
and I
this
never
is
even
similar
thought this
to
could
what-
be dangerous.
Right, this is similar to what Amazon wants to do eventually,
Yeah,
right?
maybe.
Didn't we
don't
read
really
that?
know.
We read that in the news one time.
Was it real or was it a publicity stunt?
This is true, but
I can see police using them for sure. Camera,
But then it's dangerous. What about? I mean, there was just a hot air balloon accident that caused this huge tragedy at a festival. I wish that I read the article better. But
Yeah,
I'm just
I haven't
picturing
seen
if you had a drone that collided with something like a hot air balloon, neither of those, if they're outside a 5-mile radius of an airport, have to
I
report
don't know.
anything.
Would that harm a hot air balloon? But my fear would be more like you think about the devastation of, say, a seagull flying into a jet engine versus a metal drone. How much more damage would that cause? Could it take out a jet engine, for example? That's where I would be kind of concerned. So I can see them being concerned about something like that. So be careful. And I guess that means that flying drones is going to have some stricter regulation.
Yeah,
soon.
it says that they're aware of the report and they are investigating. So,
Who's this?
This is on to the next crazy story. A killer robot is a fully autonomous weapon that can select and engage target without any human interaction.
But he looks so nice. Oh, wait a minute.
They do not currently exist, as we know so far, but advances in technology are bringing them closer to reality. Which
Scary.
is completely scary. And I think that even the fact that we're thinking it means they're probably already happening. Those in favor of killer robots believe that the current laws of war may be sufficient to address any problems that may emerge if they are ever deployed, arguing that a moratorium, not an outright ban, should be called if this is not the case. However, those who oppose their use believe that they are a threat to humanity and any autonomous kill functions should be banned. I agree with those people. Killer robots will be debated during an informal meeting of experts at the United Nations in Geneva. Two robot experts, Professor Ronald Arkin and Professor Noel Sharkey, will debate the efficacy and necessity of killer robots. The meeting will be held during the UN Convention on Certain Conventional Weapons, the CCW. A report on the discussion will be presented to the CCW meeting in November. This will be the first time that the issue of killer robots will be addressed within the CCW. Probably not the last time. The idea of having it's unmanned drones to the next level.
That's the thing, they're autonomous. So you think about, the last story was about a drone that is controlled by somebody with a remote control.
This is a robot that thinks on its own.
Thinks for itself and is programmed to kill.
So it is programmed to recognize a threat and then to take it out. Well, what if it doesn't recognize the right thing as a threat?
And I think we've been there before, and we should know better.
I'm scared. But the fourth story is exciting. The next installment of...
Oh, good.
Yes. The next installment of Unreal Tournament, the acclaimed first-person shooter video game series made by Epic Games, will be available on Linux, which is exciting because I now have Linux. The news comes just weeks after initial Linux support was announced as part of the Unreal Engine 4.1.
Wow.
The engine powering the game. Development on the Unreal Tournament 4 will start from scratch with a focus on Linux, Macs, and Windows. Unreal cautioned that it will take many months until the game is playable by gamers, but that when the first alpha arrives, it will be available for free. Development on the game will happen in the open on GitHub, a part of collaboration between Epic, the fans, and the fans of the title and developers of the Unreal Engine. So it'll be free and developed.
That is awesome.
Yeah.
So this is going to be like open source.
Yeah.
So I can download it, code it myself, and re-upload. Strangely enough, you'd think that we did a Google search for killer robots because these stories seem to be running together, and he looks strikingly like a killer robot. But
he looks like one of those crazy ones. Yeah.
Unreal Tournament.
They say from the very...
Unreal Engine 4.1.
From the very first line of code, the very first art created and design decisions made, development will happen completely in the open. So
Incredible.
Epic's plan is to create a marketplace where developers, mod makers, and gamers can give away, buy, and sell content. And the earnings will be split between them and the content creators, which is how they intend to pay for the game.
Incredible.
Pay to play. I love it.
Thing. That is... Now they're taking on a whole different type of distribution, that is along the lines of, say, LibreOffice or something like that.
It's just a beautiful thing.
One of the most brilliant games of all time.
And I believe if there's so much collaborative work done, then it's going to be one of the best games ever.
Absolutely. And Unreal Tournament has always been up there with mod creators offering different spin-offs and things like that. So to be able to make those open.
I'm not 100% a gamer yet, but I intend to be.
Now that you can put that on your Linux laptop,
right.
Look at this thing.
Okay, get the full stories at category5.tv/newsroom. I have to do this really quick because I'm really excited about my computer.
Oh, yes.
The category5.tv newsroom is researched by Roy W. Nash with contributions by our community of viewers. If you have a news story that you think is worthy of on-air mention, email newsroom@category5.tv. For the category5.tv newsroom, I am Sasha Dermatis.
Okay, Sasha,
let's get this party started.
Check it out. Okay?
Woo.
Now, you've been using this for a whole hour.
Yes.
You've been on Linux. Did you find it was incredibly difficult to use compared to Windows?
So far, no. No, so far it's working.
Okay. You know what? I'm gonna put this back, but I can do this.
Yay!
How do you like that?
I love it.
Isn't that cool? So
okay.
I can actually bring up the screen.
So can you do a little tour for me?
Well, I'll let you give the tour.
Okay.
So I'm actually going to put this right in front of you.
Okay.
There you go. Here you go. And so we're going to bring up your screen.
Okay.
So here, let's quickly. I'm going to close a couple things that I had open so that you can figure this out.
Okay.
We don't have. There we go. Okay. Okay. So now, first time on Linux, find out how to get on the internet. Because this is the big thing. People say, okay, well, I need to be able to get on the internet. I need to be able to get email. I need to be able to... Notice, guys, I put in Pigeon there with the chat room, so Sasha's going to be joining us through the week. Is that right?
That is right.
Awesome. Okay, so find out
Am I
how to get
anywhere
on the internet.
close? Uh-oh. Computer network? No, that's wrong.
Well, we're going on the internet.
I'm going... So when I just touch Google Chrome...
Guys.
Sorry, guys. I'm on the internet.
You're on the internet? You got there?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay, I'm there.
So you're there.
Okay, sorry, I knew.
Okay, well, there you are. You're in Google Chrome. That's fantastic. Quick tip for you. There's a Google Chrome button down at the bottom left there. You recognize that little icon? That's cool. You found the quote-unquote, we'll call it the start menu. It's your...
This is the Z,
OS.
yes.
The Z, yeah. And what does that give you? That gives you access to all of your stuff. So when, like, the applications that have come pre-installed and a couple things that I've installed, like Pigeon and things, one of the first thing that I did with your laptop, and I say this so that you can follow suit if you're interested in switching over to Linux. first thing I did was backed up your files. So that's your pictures, your documents, anything like that that's important to you.
Right.
Then I created what's called an image of your laptop with Clonezilla. It's a free piece of software that let me take your whole computer and move it into a file on my server. So that if for some reason Sasha ever says, this is crazy, I can't handle it, I need to go back to Windows, we can go back.
Will that happen?
Like, no. I've already deleted it. But we do that because it's a matter of process to doing things correctly. Because if something goes wrong, and I'll admit I did have some problems finding a flavor of Linux that ran perfectly on this particular laptop.
Right.
We settled for Zorin OS, and it runs very, very well. You notice that it's running quite fast, and it's running well. So then I installed Zorin OS just from a DVD ISO that I downloaded and burnt it to a DVD-RW, inserted it into your computer, booted up, and hit F12 and installed it, and it was easy breezy. And then set up your email account, imported your IMAP settings, everything's working just fine. And then got onto the server and copied all your pictures back.
Okay.
So now what you're looking at is actually a Linux version of your original desktop. So everything that you had is there, all your pictures.
So if I go back down here, so all I have really is my Dark Souls Complete Strategy
And that was on your Windows desktop.
Yes.
So, yes. And you've also got your pictures and things. So that's files, right? You've just pointed something and it popped up.
Files.
It says files. So...
okay.
Oh, that's something that I've created. So look at the left-hand side there. You see pictures, videos, desktop documents, and things. And so everything that you had is still there.
Christmas Day.
Yeah.
Oh,
so there you go. So your
this.
pictures are actually imported into your Linux computer, and there you are
Christmas
with long
Day.
hair.
Me on Christmas Day, long hair.
Cool.
Okay.
So
Thank you.
there you have it.
Okay, and so that's how you...
I want a progress report. I want to know how this thing runs for you over the next little while. Performance is great. You're obviously on wireless and no wires at all. We completely disconnected it. You could hold it up and even show people that it's like
There
that.
is no wires.
Yeah, there it is.
There are no wires.
And running Zorin OS just fine. Zorin OS is just another flavor of Linux. It's absolutely free to download, zorin-os.com. And it's quite nice for, I think, a Windows user to transition onto Zorin OS. You can see that is a very Windows 7-esque kind of operating system, and it also has an XP version using the Zorin look changer, which is included with that. So if you prefer Windows XP's look, you can actually switch it to that.
I have questions already. I can't wait to be on next.
Excellent. Start writing them down.
I will.
Write them down.
Yay!
And we'll see you next week. Everybody, if you are on Google+, stick around because a Google+ Hangout is about to occur. We're just going to start uploading the files, and then we'll be on Google+. Join us in the chat room. Been nice having you here. Sasha, always a pleasure.
I love being here. I wish I could be here every single week. I'll just take over for Robbie. No.
Just take my spot. I've got the week off next week, folks.
That's right.
Sasha will be here. It's going to be fun.
Also, it's Half Price Wing Night at my work.
Half Price Wing Night?
On Tuesday.
I will not be here.
Yeah.
Can you get them to move it to Wednesdays?
Wouldn't that be nice?
Could you get them to move
$5 premium draft on Wednesdays. If you any viewers that are in Barrie, come to St. Louis.
Oh.
Yeah.
I want to go there.
$5 premium draft. $5 Guinness.
There's the advert. We'll see you right after the show. Hangout from St. Louis. Have a great week.
Bye.
See you, everybody.
We hope you enjoyed the show. Category 5 TV broadcasts live from Barrie, Ontario, Canada every Tuesday at 7 p.m. Eastern. If you're watching this on demand or through cable TV, check out the local show times in your area at category5.tv and find out when you can watch live and interact in the community chat room. Category 5 is a production of Prodigy Digital Solutions and is licensed under Creative Commons Attribution 2.5 Canada. We'll see you next time. Thanks for tuning in.